You're listening to RIAcast, a podcast of the Southwest Florida Real Estate Investment Association. RIAcast brings together a variety of real estate entrepreneurs from all over the world to share tips and ideas. The core purpose of the Southwest Florida RIA is to help members become more profitable and successful through networking, education, and empowerment. Here are your hosts, Jeff Tamarello and Michael Lyons.
Hi, I'm Mike Lyons, one of the directors of the Southwest Florida Real Estate Investment Association. I'm with the other director of the association, Jeff Tamarello. We are joined by Christian and Audrey today to discuss pad splitting. Did I say that right?
Padsplit, yes.
I almost said splitting pads. I think that was the wrong way to say it. No, but welcome, guys. How are you?
Awesome. Excited
I'm
to be
great.
here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys being willing to speak at our meeting in November. Well, tell us about yourselves. Audrey, to start with you. How long you've done what you're doing, and what are y'all going to talk about?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited about the meeting coming up. So I work for a company called Padsplit. I've been with the company for 2 years. The company's been around since 2018, late 2018. But we are the largest co-living marketplace in the country. There's a lot of buzz around co-living. I'm sure most of you have heard of it by now. So I'm excited to dive in.
Awesome. That's awesome. And Christian, so what role does Audrey play in making you a millionaire, a multimillionaire?
Yes, well, hopefully, yes, a couple times over. She is my go-to representative for Padsplit. Like my liaison helped me, learn about Padsplit, how it works, the marketplace, what type of, basically from the beginning, like, buy box, right? Because I've been an annual investor, owning annual properties, mobile homes. So going into the co-living is a completely strategy than looking for, single family homes as a single family home rental. So really educating me about the whole co-living model, using the Padsplit platform, also helped us, as far as initial underwriting tools, best practices, what type of furnishings are good, what do you want to use? And, so from that, we've taken what she's provided us and Patspa's provided it, and we recreated it and repurposed for what works for us here in Southwest Florida. It may not work for other Padsplit properties in Atlanta or Las Vegas. It's a little bit different. So I've kind of tweaked it to what I felt would work best as we're building out our co-living portfolio throughout Southwest Florida.
Awesome. That makes sense. I know too, like if you bought a property right now in our market, close to retail, it's a single family, it will not cash flow. I would assume that this would be a much better play on a property like that. You can rent multiple rooms out and generate a lot more money each month.
Correct.
Actually, that's probably a good question. What's the comparison? So how much more could you get for a pad splitted house that's a 6-bedroom, 3-bath instead of a 3-2? I mean, I'm not even sure I'd ask that question.
Typically, yeah. Well, typically you're 2 to 3xing your gross revenue.
That's
a
it.
long-term rental to a Padsplit.
That's awesome. That's good.
Mike, we've been
Name another
3Xing.
strategy where you can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
We've been 3Xing.
that'd be great. That's
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We've been 3Xing on that.
So, and I do.
Yeah. Christian's putting out. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say Christian's putting out really good product, right? So like Padsplit, we're sort of the Airbnb of co-living. So you can technically list whatever you want on our platform. We guarantee views to your listing, just like other marketplaces. But he's putting out really solid product, going above and beyond, and that's why he's seeing the revenue he's seeing.
That's awesome. So a good question. So the rehab or the remodel work on something like this, you're not going typical rental property. You're going really nice so that it's desirable for people in this. Is that how do you gauge that? I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all going to depend, right? The buy box is this, like minimum 1,700 square feet, get you 6 to 7 bedrooms. But what's really important is like location and proximity to where people work, right? People want to be close to work. A lot of these folks, some of them don't even have vehicles, right? So ease of getting to shopping centers and getting to work is really important. We have properties on the platform that are not renovated that do really well because they're just in a really great area. They're next to a bus line. But then, we're starting to see now that we've been a marketplace, we've been around for over 5 years, people are starting to go a little above and beyond. In some properties, every room has a bathroom in the bedroom. Every room has a desk, a TV. They're really like outfitting these rooms to be almost like a dorm room essentially. You can charge a little bit more money for those, right? So we see all different types of properties. There's no one size fits all, really.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean, basically, those are like efficiencies. In some cases, there's what they're putting a bathroom and everything all in one spot.
Yeah, we call them suites. So you walk into a house where it was a 5'3", now it's a 5'5". Every room has its own designated bathroom. Those rent for a lot more than a room sharing a bathroom.
Suite shares or sounds a lot better than efficiency. So that's
Yeah.
luxury suite with your own bathroom.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
That's good. So Christian, what have you learned thus far in what you've done with the properties? How many are you dealing with? And I mean, what have you learned?
We have our first one we launched. It was just a year ago. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. We purchased it a little over a year ago. We launched it December of 2024 on the Padsplit platform. And we got our first two bookings we did it the 15th. By the end of the month, it was during the Christmas holiday too. We had two of the 8 rooms already booked. And then we went to 90% occupancy within the first 7 weeks. So by like end of February, we were almost completely full. And we've been at 100% occupancy the past 4 months. So we've averaged, I think we're going to average probably about 88% occupancy for 2015, our first, full year of launching is what I'm estimating on that.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
if you have it at 30% occupancy, or at least at market. So I mean,
Yeah.
so anything above that's great. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
And one of the things too, and I think Audrey was great in setting the expectations, right? They've been around for several years. They targeted the bigger markets, right? They started in Atlanta, Padsplit. They're big in Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Baltimore, Kansas City, areas that have a Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, bigger cities, bigger people to draw them. So as they've expanded their reach and the Padsplit rooms, they're going into tertiary markets, and we're one of the first, I believe, Padsplit hosts in the tertiary market in Southwest Florida. So she said, we're not spending as much ad dollars as we are in the bigger cities that we're in. So, and I appreciate that she set those expectations. So before we launched, I made sure that I had my own marketing in place with our virtual assistant to help fill the rooms. And we were able to accomplish that as a team between what we got, the members we got in the room and what Padsplit brought. That's what really helped us with our occupancy, by us, filling those rooms as well, not just relying 100% on Padsplit, people coming through their marketing efforts.
Wow, that makes sense. Okay, great. No, that's awesome. Okay, we don't want to give your whole presentation away, so
Yeah.
in this video, but that's awesome. You're sharing some really good information. Is there anything else though when it comes to, I don't know, that you'd want to share before that's the big presentation comes in the meeting that's worth mentioning?
I mean,
A loaded question. Sorry.
for me, yeah. I mean, one thing I will say, it's a lot of work and a lot of research to find the right property that's going to meet the criteria to be a successful co-living property with Padsplit. As Audrey mentioned, it's the product. So there's really, and I'll talk about that at the meeting. There's definitely a lot of, I think broad level narrowing it down to to find that right property, because the buy box, as Audrey mentioned, is a bigger house, 1,800 square feet or bigger. The location's really important. So I think there's a lot that goes into trying to find the exact property that's gonna do really well in this real estate model.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll just tee up kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. I was
No,
gonna say,
go
I'll just
ahead.
kind of tee up what we'll talk about in the meeting is, sourcing a property, finding the right property that fits for this model. Christian mentioned he's going to do an 11-bedroom in Fort Myers. That's got to be a very particular property that you're going to be able to put 11 people in, right? And so sourcing is huge. So we'll go over that.
That's
I'll
not
bring
on
some case
Ballard,
studies.
is it? Sorry. That
What's
property
that?
did on Ballard?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Jerry.
We'll talk about, I'll pull some case studies in the area so you guys can kind of actually see, revenue potential. We'll talk about zoning and kind of how we are, challenging zoning laws throughout all of the metros that we're in. And then we'll talk about our tenants, who they are, who are our members, where do they come from, who is our demographic of tenant, and then roles and responsibilities between us, Padsplit, what we cover, and then what you're responsible for as a host. And actually, we've started to partner with Christian and his PM company, and I've been referring him some business, and he is absolutely crushing it with my out-of-state investors who are buying and holding in Southwest Florida, and kind of his offerings and what that looks like. And really excited because I think Southwest Florida has so much potential. I think there's a huge demand for affordable housing, and that's what we're here to solve as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. No, it's fantastic. Jeff, do you have any questions to
As we're
stump
talking,
them?
I was just looking. There's none in Valdosta. There's some in Columbus, Georgia. But more importantly, I was like, what if there's like a really cool pad split with a dock and the Keys for like a week? Talk about a cheap vacation. I didn't see any on there for that, but
And we do business in Georgia, by the way, Audrey. That's why we're
Yeah.
Got
Well,
it. Yeah, Padsplit's going to be more your like long-term, midterm rental. It's people that are working local, hourly wage roles who are looking for a more permanent solution. Doc and the Keys is going to be, there's another platform for that.
Yeah. Well, both of the areas that I'm investing in Georgia have a military base
Yep.
as part of the area, and I really think that this would work well with that. So really
Yeah,
well with that.
absolutely.
Now, I've been watching this since Christian talked about it, what, a year ago?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there's definitely more product on the platform in Cape Coral now.
Yeah,
When
definitely.
you first mentioned it, I guess I shouldn't say this on the video, but I will. I was like, "Oh, Chris, before, dude, what are you doing? That sounds like a pain in the butt." But no, it sounds like it's worked out really well for you. So that's awesome. That's awesome. We're
Yeah,
very
no.
much looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
anyone that's been doing Airbnbs, or was in that market and that strategy, you should definitely come to the meeting. This is a great solution for you and some of your properties that aren't seeing the occupancy they were seeing. Anybody who's an agent who, their clients are kind of sitting, waiting, this is a perfect strategy to sell them. So looking forward to seeing everyone at the meeting.
Yeah, and I agree to expand upon Audrey. I mean, I think there's a huge market, especially with all the Airbnbs that, came on board during COVID, post-COVID on Cape Coral. I'm getting a lot of inquiries through our co-living property management company we set up and maintenance company about, hey, can you help us, look at this? Can you run the numbers? Can you underwrite, analyze a deal? So huge opportunity for those investors, and also too for realtors as well that have investors and say, hey, I'm not interested. I want to buy investment properties, but this Airbnb model is not working in Southwest Florida. And as you mentioned, Mike, you're not making any money on an annual rental in today's prices. Really, the niche market to pivot is to the co-living, space using the Padsplit platform. And we'll talk about all the benefits of why using Padsplit platform versus going it alone. And I'll expand upon that. It was a big reason why I did that. I mean, as you know, I have a background as an attorney. I've been a licensed attorney for 30 years. So I could have done my individual leases and leased up the rooms and stuff like that. When I weighed out and looked at the logistics and so forth and so on, it was a no-brainer for me to reach out and work with Audrey and Padsplit. I mean, it was really a no-brainer situation. So I think there's going to be a lot of great nuggets. I think we're going to really show the underwriting. I'm going to also bring a spreadsheet. I'm going to show real numbers for our first property in Port Charlotte and share those so people can see what we've been doing with that property. I think it's going to be a great way for investors really to dig in and learn about this model from the ground up.
That's awesome. No, it's really, when you mentioned what with cash flow, when I get calls, and I'm sure Jeff does often, about, hey, what can I buy to make a cash flow in Southwest Florida? I'm like, well, pay about 60% of market and you'll be fine. You can cash flow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good luck, man. So yeah, no, that's awesome. We're looking forward to your presentation. It's going to be, hopefully we have tons of people. This is a buzzword that a lot of people are talking about. So we're looking forward to it. So thank you so much. And we will see you, the date of the meeting. We probably should announce that in the video. That would be kind of
November 19th.
November 19th. Yeah. Wednesday, November 19th in the evening at 3 Fisherman in Norfolk Myers. Doors open at 5:30 or so. And then we'll start the meeting around 6:30. So
Yep. Yes,
we will see you guys then, man. We appreciate it.
Get there early. We'll be available afterwards for question and answers. And also, too, we are going to be doing a tour of my 11 bedroom, 5 bath pad split. That's going to be coming live sometime in November. Hopefully, right around, we'll have maybe all of it, some of it able to tour, after the November 19th meeting. So we're definitely we're going to make that a priority, and we'll be announcing times for that during the meeting as well.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely try to make that. That'd be great. So, all right, guys, we appreciate
Perfect.
you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thanks.
See you there.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
This concludes this edition of RIAcast. Be sure to subscribe to receive our next episode. You can also subscribe at our website, www.swflreia.com. See you at a meeting soon. Please let us know if you have a suggestion for a future episode.